Hi and welcome to Inside Line. This week we're talking faults with new cars and a string of new Hyundais. But first, I recently got behind the wheel of a car that could become Australia's best seller, the Holden Cruze. Now, Richard, what do you reckon? Has this got what it takes to topple that 15-year run by the Commodore?
Yeah, well, it's got some pretty stiff competition. You mentioned the Commodore itself, but it's also the Mazda 3 and the Toyota Corolla. They're not easy cars to knock over, but it has all the right ingredients. The price is right. You know, it's improved the engines. It's done a lot of right things, and it looks all right, so you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the driving experience is definitely improved. As you say, the engines are vastly improved, more so for their refinement. I mean, the 1.8 litre hasn't changed radically, but they've just quietened it down and been a little bit smarter with the gearbox to get it working more intuitively. And the diesel engine's a cracker, and of course that 1.4 litre turbo that sort of offers a good middle ground. Yeah,
I've got to say I wasn't a fan of the first one, and then, you know, lo and behold, it's basically running third to the Corolla and Mazda 3.
Well, it has got size on its side, and it's, you know, a reasonable smattering of equipment. And of course, the unknown here is what that Australian-made tag will do, particularly with governments and fleets.
Absolutely, and they've still got the hatch to come. I mean, they're doing those very impressive numbers now with no hatch in the range. So when they get that on board later in the year, who knows who could stop
be a
them.
Force to be reckoned with. Now, Hyundai is another brand with big aspirations, this week confirming 4 new models for its expanding range. Now, Richard, do you think these ones can lift off where the Getz is basically going to be discontinued in 3 months and all of a sudden 25% of the volume's gone?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. I mean, the Getz has always been the price leader. It's always driven those drive-away deals that Hyundai has been so successful with. So it is a big ask. I mean, they've got a new sedan version of the i20, the Accent, and then they're going to have a wagon version of the i45, and in between those the Elantra, which is basically the sedan version of the i30. So they really are expanding their range. So you would say that there's going to be volume coming from that, but I really do think price has driven the volume so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously getting your name, head around the new names is a tricky one because they've got a mix of alphanumeric and regular ones. But, you know, one of the things they're talking about is potentially some innovative marketing deals, such as all-inclusive servicing while it's under the warranty period.
Yeah, well, if they include the servicing and they've already got a very generous warranty program, I mean, that's going to be very attractive to young buyers, but it's also not going to leave much margin for profit.
No, and it depends. You know, the price that people initially see are the ones they're interested in, and if that doesn't come down, it might not even tempt them into the dealership.
No, absolutely.
Veloster looks interesting, though.
It does.
Sexy-looking coupe and return to the old days of affordable coupes.
Exactly.
Now, finally, this week is the latest annual and controversial JD Power Quality Survey from the US. And Richard, it's Mini that hasn't got a whole lot to smile about.
No, it hasn't. You know, iconic brand and, you know, fantastic to drive. But what this survey is really saying is it may be nice to drive. It's not all that fun to own for a long period of time.
Yeah, well, premium price doesn't seem to mean a lot in this survey, does it? You know, you've got a lot of brands, BMW, Audi, Mini, Land Rover, that are all sort of towards the bottom.
Absolutely, and Volkswagen have traditionally done poorly in these surveys as well. Meanwhile, at the top of the range, you've got the Americans cracking it for the first time. You know, on top of the pile with the Lincoln.
Yeah, and Lexus amazing. Second.
Yeah,
Toyota's up there, and Jaguar, which is they have been there for a few years, but it amazes me that Jaguar and Land Rover are owned by the same company, effectively sister brands, yet they're at opposite ends of the scale.
Maybe they build the Jags on Monday and the Land Rovers on Friday when everyone wants to go to the pub.
Excellent. Well, that's it for Inside Line this week. Thanks for tuning in, and for all your motoring news and reviews, stay tuned to Drive.com.au. We'll catch you next week.